Is Castaway Key a big selling point for you? Are you looking to take a Disney cruise maybe in the next couple of months, maybe in the next year? We're going to talk all about it and more in today's video. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. My name is Josh, one half of the WDW Couple, and we help couples venture beyond their backyards to new and exciting places. We just got off of the Disney Fantasy last month in January. We had a fantastic time, and we've been posting videos occasionally here as we get time to of that adventure. And last week we posted about Castaway Key, and we got a really great question from somebody who follows us all the time. This question from Durling Destinations: we want to do a Disney cruise solely for Castaway Key. In your opinion, is it worth paying extra for Disney or just going on a different ship, probably a better boat, with another company? And I thought that this was a fantastic question because all too often people do really kind of get caught up in between taking Disney to have that Disney feel experience magic versus taking another cruise line. And while you can go to basically all of the same destinations, your experience is undoubtedly going to be a little bit different than it would be on Disney. Last month, we got off of the Disney Fantasy. This was the first Disney cruise that we've taken since 2018. This was our 5th cruise. You know anything about that? That means when we sail on the Wish in August, fingers crossed it doesn't get canceled, we will be gold members. Since debarkation, we've been posting a few videos and we've been getting some great comments and questions. And I really thought that this would kind of give me a chance to make a quick video about something and still give me time to continue to prep all the other videos to be posted later. This is a great question that we get asked about in general a lot with Disney and cruising, because Disney cruising is a very different experience in our opinion than it has been in the past visiting the theme parks. Disney as a whole, unfortunately, some of their experiences for guests have been kind of going in the opposite direction that you'd like to see. Disney Cruise Line really is kind of like that last front of the all-inclusive, very magical and exceptional type of service that you don't ever see at the theme parks. And it's a really great question to ask that, you know, the thing with Disney Cruise Line is it comes with a hefty price tag, especially for families. It's more expensive. And visiting Castaway Key is a great destination, and it's only accessible by Disney Cruise Line. But don't think that Disney Cruise Line is the only cruise line that has their own private island. Pretty much all of the major cruise lines out there, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, that's not to say that they own these islands outright. Most of them have contracts with the Bahamian government as a lease, and most of those leases run until like basically the end of time. And so keep that in mind whenever you are actually trying to make a decision here about if taking a Disney cruise is really worth it to visit Castaway Key. With that being said, that pretty much all the major cruise lines really have a private island. I really think it is beneficial to note that most of those private islands really offer you the same type of amenities across the board. Most of them are all going to have a family area. Most of them are all going to have an adult-only area. They're going to have a restaurant that is normally a buffet, quick service, fast food style, barbecue usually that is offered to you. It's included with your cruise fare. On top of that, depending on which island you're on, if you're on Castaway Cay, that's Royal Caribbean's, they've got a water park. It's an additional fee. They've got zip lining and they've got a hot air balloon. If you are at Castaway Key, you've got the kids clubs that go out onto the island. You know, so they're all very similar, but they do also offer some differences. So if we're talking about Castaway Key and its importance, the only way that you can actually get to Castaway Key is if you take a Bahamian or a Caribbean sailing on any Disney cruise line that is going to go there. And right now, that's pretty much the Fantasy, the Dream, the Magic. Those are typically the only cruises that are going to make it that way. The Wonder is in part right now in Galveston. It will sometimes make its way over to Castaway Key as well when it's doing Bahamian and Caribbean sailings. But normally, you're going to see the Magic's going to reposition to Europe, the Wonder will reposition over to Alaska, and for the most part, in the summertime, we're going to see just the Dream and the Fantasy kind of making their way through the Caribbean and through the Bahamas and stopping at Castaway Key. And the Dream and the Fantasy are the larger ships. So when you go to visit Castaway Key, if you're on a larger ship, remember, there's going to be more people there. And if you're on a smaller ship like the Magic or the Wonder, there will be less people there. Inherently, the island is not growing or shrinking. It's always going to be the same size. So if you are going to visit the island and you're really looking for kind of that perfect visit for Castaway Key, we would suggest that you take a cruise on the Magic or the Wonder to get to Castaway Key because it's going to be far less crowded. So let's dive into some of the specifics of Castaway Key and kind of why people, I think, tend to gravitate towards it so much. Obviously, first and foremost, the biggest thing is that it is Disney. So you have the Disney kind of magic and atmosphere and feel when you're on the island. And what makes Castaway Key pretty special, I mentioned this earlier very briefly, is that the kids club actually able to go down onto the island. And so if your kids are registered at any of the kids clubs on board, when they get down onto the island, they can actually go over there, hang out, enjoy some time with their friends that they've made on the cruise, which is always great and fun. And it also gives the parents some time alone. And you can head on over to Serenity Bay, which is Disney's adult-only area. And the adult-only area is really not very significant as far as, wow and bam factor. Really, it's just a nice secluded beach with a bunch of lounge chairs, umbrellas, and it really just gives you that really peaceful, tranquil moment alone. Now, in our past experience at Serenity Bay, which is the adult-only area, the water was super clear, nice and low, and it was a great way to just be able to walk out. And I mean, you could walk out really far and just relax and unwind. Unfortunately, this time it was not like that. It looked like tide was up, it was really deep, murky, and we were told in the comments by somebody else that basically that has been the way, it has been that way since Hurricane Dorian back in 2019. Now, the other really great thing about Serenity Bay for adults is that they also have their own little dining area over there as well. It's the same food that you can find up in the family area, except that they offer you steaks. And those are made to order steaks, so you can get them rare, medium rare, well done, however you want. Steaks are made just for you. Moving back over to the family side, which is probably the most important side, I think, for a lot of people who are doing Disney as a whole. There's always going to be far more families on board than there are ever going to be couples or even single adults. The family area is actually the first area that you're really going to come to on the island. If you get on the tram, it's going to be the first stop, and it is far larger than the other side for the adults, obviously because they need to accommodate those families with children. And so you're going to find a bunch of beach chairs, lounge chairs, umbrellas. There used to be hammocks. We didn't see any hammocks up this past time. I'm not sure why. But this is also where you're going to find some of the activities, excursions that you can do, like hobby cats, jet skiing, snorkeling, diving. They've got a stingray encounter that you can do, which is really cool. And then you're also going to find pelican plunge over there as well. And so the family side is really large. It's very nice. And like I said, you're going to see a lot of people over there enjoying that area. More than likely, though, I think for many people, the biggest selling point about Castaway Key is that it still offers you the ability to meet and greet with characters. So even after you get off the ship and you make your way down onto the island, while we were on our way out to the family side, we skipped taking the tram. We actually got to see Donald and Pluto. Later on in the day, we got to see Mickey and Minnie. You can even see Donald and Daisy. I mean, really, the core characters are really out and about and interacting and mingling with people, which is really nice. And it's super cool. And it's something that you'll never find at another island by another cruise line because they don't have that same IP draw that Disney does. However, we will say that there are some things for us personally that we feel that Castaway Key is missing. Mainly is that they don't have a large pool or a pool at all for you to be able to just hang out and relax in. If you want to enjoy the pool, you actually have to go back up onto the ship and hang out up on top of the deck. At Castaway Cay on Royal Caribbean's private island, they have a huge pool with this awesome swim-up bar, and it makes it really nice to be able to lounge in there and relax if you're somebody who doesn't like the sand getting in places where it shouldn't be. But honestly, Disney's biggest selling point at Castaway Key is just that it is an extension of their own IP, right? They can put all of their Disney characters out there for guests to interact with. And whenever you go snorkeling, if you are adventurous like I am, what's really cool is that they have markers out in the water, and you can swim out there and you can find Mickey and Minnie, Prince Eric, Boo's Door, treasure. Like, there's a lot of different cool things to see out there. And in the past, I've even seen some sea turtles, which has been so awesome. So going back to our original comment that we got, which was, is it really worth it? Is Castaway Key make it worth it to take a Disney cruise? And I think that the answer is that it really depends. And go with me here, because I know that people don't normally like to hear that. They want a yes or a no answer. But it really isn't that. I mean, first off, you have to make the decision yourself, right? It's expensive to take a Disney cruise. Normally for Taylor and I to get a veranda stateroom, which is with a balcony, we're looking at paying anywhere from about $3,500 to about $4,000. And that's booking it sometimes pretty far out, over a year in advance. And that's pretty expensive. Comparing that to other cruise lines, where normally we could get a veranda room at about a quarter of the price. But with that being said, if you are really, really interested, you want to go to Castaway Key, you want to say that you've been to Castaway Key, we totally get that. And so here's the answer to that. Yes, it might be worth it if you take a cruise that is 4 nights or less. Because in that way, you're really just kind of going out to Castaway Key. You're probably going to have a stop at Nassau. You don't necessarily need to get off at Nassau unless maybe you're going to go to Atlantis for their water park. But usually, if you're going to stop at Nassau, just stay on the ship. And then that way you get a full day at Castaway Key. You can hang out, relax, enjoy everything that there is, see the characters, and still get some of that Disney magic at sea on board your cruise. And even for most of those sailings, you're still going to get things like Pirate Night or Halloween on the High Seas or Christmas time, the Maritime Christmas cruises. All of those things you can still incorporate on shorter sailings. However, if you are interested in doing something that's longer, 4 nights or more, so 5 nights or longer, we would recommend probably going through a different cruise line because let's face it, you're going to be going to the same destinations that Disney is, but you're going to be paying a much cheaper fare to do so. And while other cruise lines aren't necessarily as all-inclusive, so to speak, as Disney is, you can still pay a little bit extra for some of those things to make it all-inclusive, and it'll still be cheaper than it is on Disney. Trust us, we know, we've done it a couple of times. So it is really kind of a depends situation, but in our own opinion, no. We would much rather take a cruise on Royal Caribbean. We're hopefully taking a cruise on Norwegian here soon, and even on the new Virgin here in the near future. So we hope that you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. And if you've got more questions or comments about cruising or Disney in general, please feel free to leave those in the comments below, and you might even get featured with your own video. And don't forget to take our survey down in the description. We're going to be giving away a $75 gift card by choosing somebody who has taken our survey. It's just helping us to kind of create some content that is a little bit more structured and better for all of you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one.